What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Bioshock Infinite! So now begins the backtracking, ladies and gentlemen, the backtracking. And I tried to edit around this a little bit, but really I gotta show a lot of this on screen because there are some unique encounters on our way back to Soldier's Field from the Hall of Heroes, and this is one of the only times in the game where we do this kind of backtracking through a really large level. Right here, if I use the shock jockey in this, it'll open this door and allow us to go up here where the snipers were before. And again, I'm very glad I skipped that encounter with the snipers because it's very time-consuming and really pretty much pointless. This will give us a good vantage point to snipe these guys. Down here, there's a tear here that can bring us in a mosquito, which is a new type of automaton. It uses little balloons and quantum physics to float. And they're very weak. They die extremely quickly if you have one that's possessed on 1999 mode. But as you can see, it is a floating machine gun essentially and can hit enemies from anywhere on the map, so it's useful for that. But they'll take it out pretty fast, especially later in the game. It basically just serves as something for the enemies to shoot at that's not you. And speaking of the enemies not shooting at you, the Vigor combo that we discussed in the last video, the Shock Jockey and the Murder of Crows, does just that. Anyway, I will be getting out of here. There's nothing I want to show off in this encounter. I'm going to be skipping most of these guys. This building over here I'm passing by does have some optional loot in it, but nothing I'm really concerned about for the sake of the run, so I'm just going to be skipping it. I just wanted to acknowledge that it was there. There's actually a tear there where you can bring in a possessed Patriot, which is a pretty unique thing. And I did that in my last test run and then discovered that it was a big waste of time and decided not to do it for this run. So this encounter right here, we've already fought guys like 3 times here, but there is a fireman in this encounter, and I'm using that Vigor combo again. That spot over there where that guy was is there's some oil on the ground. We could catch that on fire with the what do you call it? The Devil's Kiss. But honestly, the Devil's Kiss just doesn't work the same way that the Incinerate did in the previous Bioshock games. So those kind of environmental hazards like the oil spills are not as effective, and you hardly notice them because of the pace of the combat. So yeah, as you can see there, the Bucking Bronco does not chain to the I almost said electric bolt, shock jockey, but it was worth a try. I know it does with the Murder Crows, and I think it does with one other thing too, if I can remember correctly. One thing I like about 1999 mode is no matter how early you are in the game, no matter how late you are in the game, you've got to take every encounter seriously, especially if you're trying to go for as minimal deaths as possible like I am. Now granted, my first time through 1999 mode, like I said, I spent a lot of money at, I didn't spend any money at any dollar bill vending machines because there's that achievement you get for doing so. But in my last test run, and in this run, I will be spending some money. I will be getting a little bit of weapon upgrades, which I didn't do in my first test run. So that's going to make things a lot more bearable, but at the same time, I'm a lot more concerned with not dying. Granted, not dying would be a little easier because we're a little bit more powerful than we would be had we not bought anything. Yeah, as you can see, the stunning the fireman here with the shock jockey, making him more susceptible to damage, is very effective at close range there with the shotgun. And then he almost got me there with his FU attack, but I managed to counter him with the by switching to the sniper rifle at the last minute. Yeah, a lot of times those guys will do that even when they're not at critical health. They'll just kind of suicide bomb up to you. I mean, they usually have to be less than 25% health to do it, but a lot of times will just suicide bomb you. And sometimes there's encounters really much later in the game where they will be hundreds of yards away from you in big open encounters, and for some reason they decide they can do that then, even though it's not a tactically sound thing to do. But anyway, we took those guys out pretty effortlessly. I'm still holding on to my setup here. Eventually I'm going to want to drop the shotgun for the RPG again if I can, because, like I said, the shotgun is great and everything, but I'm really not going to be using it a whole lot in this game compared to how you might think. You know, even though I love the shotgun in this game and I love it in most of the games I play, most of the FPS games, I'm not really going to be using it a whole lot here. My typical setup is usually one precision weapon and one splash damage weapon, as I said before. So, and I don't consider the shotgun a splash damage weapon. So right here we have another fight with the Patriot. It seems like he was distracted with something there. Maybe there's more enemies in this encounter. But I managed to get a good shot in on him from behind there with the sniper rifle using the shock jockey. The shock jockey is effective against him for dealing more damage and keeping him stun locked with a powerful enough weapon. but unless you deal a really critical hit and knock off his head or something like I did there, he's going to recover from being stunned very quickly, and he's going to deal out an extra hit against you. So I'm not exactly playing things safe here, but I knew I could quickly kill him enough. Or kill him quickly enough, rather. And I passed up that other Bucking Bronco pickup over there, where they could get you a lot more Eve if you're not Eve. I keep using Bioshock 1 terms. It gives you a lot more salts if you needed them. And we're almost out of ammo for the shotgun, even though Elizabeth gave us more, so I'm done with it for now.
I always thought of them as doors. When I was younger, I didn't just open the ones I found. I remember making them.
Making them?
I could go wherever I wanted. But I always wanted to come back.
To what?
I don't know. My family?
Huh. How do you do that? Whatever it is.
You know how I said I had plenty of time to read? Well, I tried to figure it out. I read literature on physics and other such things.
Yeah? And what did that teach you?
That there's a world of difference between what we see and what is. More money.
That'll do.
Alright, so now we're back in Soldier's Field. I do want to stock up on some more ammo for the sniper rifle while we're over here. And any of the areas you didn't explore before, you could still go to them over here now. If for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't go to them the first time, but like I said, this is one of the few areas that we do get to backtrack through. Which, even though I don't like how long it took for us to get the shock jockey, and I feel like that level was mostly padding, in retrospect, it does actually add a lot more context to some of the story details. It's just the first time through the game, it really feels like the story's been derailed. But it is for the better. It is a lengthy portion of the game, and it's a much more traditional Bioshock level in the sense that you do get to do some backtracking, and everything is a little more open-ended. But not quite to the degree that the original games were. This is actually a very interesting voxophone here. I'm going to let this play.
Is a sporting man, Miss Fitzroy. I won't steal up on you while you slumber like these Vox boys here, with their pig stickers. That's one scalp to me. That's two. Now when you hear this, I want you to square your affairs and come die in the side of the poets. You'll need a white man's weapon. Give this a try.
Alright, I'll comment on that here in a second. We gotta activate the gondola and get out of here.
The gondola's coming!
He will abandon you, my sweet Elizabeth. Once he has what he needs, he will leave you alone. What else could you expect from a liar and killer of women?
Comstock.
Father, prophet, whomever you are, I'm leaving and there's naught you can do to stop me.
Oh, sweet child. That's where you'll
Alright, looks like Comstock is sending some resistance out to meet us. He doesn't want us to get away from here without a fight. Which is lovely. He's on to us now. He knows we have Elizabeth, and this is overall just not good. So all these sky rails that you knew you were going to have to be using in this area are finally going to be relevant to this encounter. Now, I picked up a piece of gear in that room back there that I unlocked with the shock jockey. That allowed it's not a particularly useful gear. I don't know. I'm not sure if I equipped it or not. But thematically, I will be looking for, as far as like the random drops go, I will be ideally looking to find some. Oh yeah, this is some really cool skyline reloads there. Ideally, I'll be looking to find a lot more skyline-oriented gear like that for a particular encounter towards the end of the game, and you guys know the one. But other than that, I really won't be adjusting my setup to those anytime soon. Now, right now, I'm trying to get some headshots on these beasts here on the what do you call them, barges while I can with what limited ammo I have, only because we are able to get like an unfairly accurate shot. Hey, she just kind of handed it to us. That was cool. But I'm going to try to keep moving around here. There's a lot of terrors in here. There was a gun automaton up there. There's a thing in medical kits down here. But a lot of these encounters with the sky rails, and this is one of the first really good ones in the game, is there's a lot of these big wide open encounters where you can keep zooming around the whole map. And you can just keep moving and don't let yourself get stuck one place for too long, because eventually they're going to catch up to you. And these beasts with the rocket launchers are very, very difficult to deal with. And they have so much resistance to damage that, no, I really kind of wasted my sniper rifle ammo there trying to kill them. But if you can at least knock off their helmets, you'll make them more susceptible to headshots. But you still can't one-shot them despite that. Even if they're, you know, a normal guy with their head exposed, and one headshot will still not do it on 1999 mode. They're just that resistant. So I'm going to try to come over here and activate this one as well. And this is where the RPG I wanted is, so we're going to go ahead and get that, because I'm conveniently running low on shotgun ammo. And like I said, these guys are so obnoxiously hard to kill that even even a direct rocket really won't do the job. We gotta find some other means. And again, efficiently dealing with them, you're gonna have to get creative. Like, if I can knock them off with like splash damage or with Bucking Bronco up here, that would be for the best. Now, of course, I died. And there's actually a vigor later in the game that is normally not very useful, but it will be very useful for dealing with these guys when they're on these sky barges like they are, these gunships. Like I said, I'm back on the sky rails now. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, he's not taking hardly any damage at all because he's so heavily armored. But if I can expose his head, that'll do us some good there. There's also a couple of pieces of gear in the game, if you happen to pick them up, that are oriented towards skyline strikes like I did just there. Like, you can get an AoE attack, or you can get a critical hit or something like that if you do a skyline strike like that. See, that would have been a good way to deal with those beasts over there. Just knock them off the edge with a melee attack, and after launching them into the sky with Bucking Bronco. Anyway, I was gonna talk about that voxophone there, because that's the start of a new side story that you're going to be following throughout the other voxophones in the game. A lot of these stories, I mean, every Bioshock game does this, and a lot of the times it's the most fascinating part of these game stories. Kind of like, you know, Diane McClintock and the other optional characters in Bioshock 1 that you never meet, but just the progression of their story is just so fascinating. Even if you only hear it in little snippets, you can basically piece together the entire story just from what you're hearing in the audio diaries or in the voxophones, and it's just fascinating. Like, you leave it up to your imagination to figure it out from the rest, and it just adds so much character to the world of the game, and it's great. And this guy in particular, I guess, is like a bounty hunter that was coming after Daisy Fitzroy, and is like has all these threats against her and everything. So we're getting to the end of this encounter here. I dealt with that beast how I said I would. I knocked him in the air and knocked him off the gondola, which may or may not actually kill him. Some of these are they have little skyhooks on them you can latch onto, but they are kind of still moving. Like, these are not going to be permanently in this encounter. They're going to leave, so we can't really stay on them forever. Not that they really provide that much of an advantage anyway. But right now I'm trying to deal with this Patriot here, which again, with the piece of gear that I have that increases splash damage and the RPG here, we can deal with him pretty quickly. This encounter also marks a new tier level for enemies. Enemies are now stronger than they were up until this point in the game. Just in general, like enemies, you know how the health and damage enemies would scale the further you get into the previous Bioshock games. I think I commented on when they would scale. That beast is still alive over here. See, knocking him off didn't do a whole lot of good anyway. He's still alive and sitting on this rooftop menacingly. But yeah, I'll try to point out all the time. See, look, I'm hitting him right in the freaking head and he's not dying. I'll try to point out all the times that the enemies scale and difficulty as the game goes on. And again, your gradual character progression is exactly the same in this game as it does in the previous Bioshock game. So you can make yourself more powerful to compensate for these enemies, just like you could in those games, but just in different ways. And in 1999 mode, not buying any upgrades from the dollar bill vending machines for your weapons makes that scale and difficulty that much more noticeable when you're not dealing the same amount of damage with your precious sniper rifle as you thought you would be. But the game does balance it pretty well if you're still wanting to go for a run like that. It's not impossible to beat the game without any upgrades like I did the first time through 1999 mode.
When you were unconscious on the beach, kept repeating a woman's name. Anna.
I don't want to talk about that.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pried. Where are you from, Mr. DeWitt?
New York.
What did you do there?
Business much like this. Something that really caters writing on a resume.
It was a fine thing you came along when you did.
How do you think I ended up here? I gambled, and now I owe money to men you don't want to be in debt to. I come here to pay it back. Me busting you out, what do you think that was? Charity?
Who sent you?
Somebody who was willing to take my marker in exchange for you.
I really like the reflections in the optic there on the sniper rifle. They're very, even if they're not 100% accurate to the environment that you're in, they look really good. Alright, we're getting ready to leave Soldier's Field, so I think I have almost every infusion and voxophone here that I want to get. There was gonna be, what the heck? There was gonna be a brief encounter that broke out right here, but I managed to deal with these guys. This encounter, I don't know why they even put these enemies here. This is a joke, unless they randomly spawned here.
So, looks like they call you the false shepherd.
And you the lamb.
Let's not call each other that.
Suits me.
How do you figure they'd know you'd be coming?
Either they've got a prophet on their side,
Har har.
or them that hired me also wrote the signs.
What?
Yeah, we still have not hit a loading screen after all that. We're still in the same level. But this is a really great view of the city from up here. We're really high up now. What do you said? $1,400. Wow. Yeah, there's the last infusion right up here.
Feel better already.
Get that wrench out of the way.
I want to see Paris. I want to see everything.
It's up to you now. There's no one...
Wait, what is that? 40 north by 74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
How'd you know that?
One thing I had in that tower was time, Mr. DeWitt. Time to study things like geography.
I owed money. And
Are you
there's a
kidding,
fella-
Elizabeth?
He offered to wipe away my debt in exchange for you. Come on.
Okay, that was pretty underhanded that we
Everything's
decided to take
gonna
her
be
against
okay.
her will,
You
but
just
still.
turn around and talk to me, and we can...